The preparations were soon over. I entrusted YJH Industrial Complex to Eileen and the Kimdokcha Industrial Complex to Mark and some council members. Rather, it felt strange hearing the Kimdokcha Industrial Complex. Was there really an industrial complex with that name in the demon world? I thought people would be unhappy. Damn, I'm just a pub owner. Is it possible to leave that to me? It's just like running the pub. It's only until I come back. I've transferred some of the rights, so you should be able to handle security. Mark had an unconvinced expression despite my words. Still, wouldn't it be good for you to show your face? The people of the industrial complex will be quite confused. I don't have time to go there right now. If a new revolutionary appears, the whole area has passed on to the next scenario. A revolutionary won't appear for a while. Mark seemed convinced by my words. It was slightly uneasy, but it would be enough to leave the industrial complex to Mark for a while. It was Mark who was the greatest help to the damaged industrial complex in the original novel. Kimdokcha was already in a panic due to the devastation caused by YJH, so people like Mark were needed. Mark led the council members towards the Kimdokcha industrial complex. Myungoh watched their backs and suddenly opened his mouth. Then we should depart. We? I looked back at Myungoh with a frown. When did this person pack his bags? I won't stay here alone. I also have a good eye when it comes to martial arts. I read many martial arts novels when I was young. In fact, I knew why Myungoh wanted to follow. To be precise, it was Myungoh's boss, not Myungoh. The Demon King of Lust and Fury is looking at you. The constellation Demon-like Judge of Fire is looking at Demon King Asmodeus. I felt sorry for Uriel, but I couldn't help right now. It was best to maintain a good relationship with Asmodeus for now, as I didn't know about the development of the third regression in the revised version. There was also something more worrisome than Uriel and Asmodeus. There are too many dregs. Do you complain about the world? Jang Hayoung and YJH were glaring at each other. I sighed. My purpose was meeting the Breaking the Sky Sword Saint, which meant YJH had to come along. Jang Hayoung was also necessary as a liaison. Above all, this journey would be a great help to Jang Hayoung's growth. Then let's depart. I sent a signal, and Bu opened a portal in the air with a bat sound. There was a whirling sound, and a portal was created. It wasn't the size of the Great Hall, but it was enough for the four of us to go across. YJH hurriedly ended as soon as the portal appeared. Jang Hayoung watched YJH disappearing and spoke in a tense voice. I've never left the demon world before. After the first dimensional movement, Jang Hayoung always lived in the demon world. I wanted to give words of encouragement, but Myungoh unexpectedly opened his mouth first. Believe in me, I've read more than 300 volumes of martial arts novels. You'll just have to follow me. I smiled at Myungoh's words. Over 300 martial arts novels. I didn't know if it would be similar to the first Murim. Let's go. The three of us plunged into the portal at the same time. My vision darkened, and the landscape of the universe unfolded before me. I crossed the universe as a ray of light. It was the Starstream galaxy where countless stories were spoken. A few stars stared at me passing by, and once I came to my senses, I was touching the rough ground. Wow, I'm dizzy. Jang Hayoung was retching to the side, while Myungoh looked like he had climbed a mountain. I didn't see where YJH had disappeared to. He probably didn't want to meet with the Breaking the Sky Sword Saint. Oh, this place. The overexcited Myungoh urged us forward with a childlike expression. I probably looked like this at the beginning of Ways of Survival. You have arrived at the Blue Dragon Castle. The portal in the sky closed with this message, and I started examining the area. The Blue Dragon Castle is one of 4 great fortresses of the first Murim. According to the description in Ways of Survival, this was one of the largest castles in the first Murim. Based on the size of the square, the city must be enormous. It was a sprawling city centered around the big palace. The markets and lively streets were selling various things. There were Murim people sitting in front of small and large houses. No one showed apparent hostility, but I could guess how powerful they were. The constellation prisoner of the golden headband is making an interested expression. Some constellations are nostalgic at the sight of the first Murim. The first Murim was a place where countless strong people were born and raised. Perhaps some of the constellations had passed through this place. Jang Hayoung glanced around the surroundings like he was overwhelmed by the atmosphere and opened his mouth. Is it a Chinese style? Is it originally like this? The martial arts background is originally like this. Despite saying it was the Chinese style, the red lanterns were the Japanese style, while some Southeast Asian architecture was mixed in. Of course, there were things unique to China, for example, the Chinese dress. The constellation demon-like judge of fire is looking at you. I walked while pretending I didn't hear it. The fortress was so wide, I couldn't get a feel for the size. However, if I read it correctly, the Breaking the Sky Sword Saint shouldn't be in this area. First, we should go towards the market. We came all the way here, and I wanted to try the dishes of the first Murim. The best things to eat were dumplings and chicken broth. These two dishes were the food that Yu Jung-hyuk ate the most in the first Murim. He often described the scene of him eating dumplings with hot chicken broth. At night, I would hold my hungry stomach and go to the convenience store and buy a 1,000 won steamed bun. I don't see anyone training in martial arts. They won't carelessly show off martial arts. You won't know if you had read 300 volumes of martial arts novels. Then are you an expert at the Murim world? Is there some type of relationship? Yes, of course. Then I'm looking forward to it. I stared at Myungoh with pitying eyes. This man seemed to think that this Murim was the Murim he knew. Not long afterwards, Myungoh's expectations started to slowly crumble. Something is strange. What do you mean? Myungoh looked closely at a passing incarnation like he had seen something that shouldn't have been seen. Why aren't the Murim people wearing jeans? Why can't they wear jeans? No, there can't be jeans in China during this time period. They're probably tourists like us. It wasn't just jeans. Most people wore earphones or large headphones, while there was also incarnations using smartphone-like devices. Though there were those who pursued the so-called Murim fashion, but approximately half of them didn't fit the world like us. Myungoh felt despair as his romance was destroyed in front of him, and I briefly sighed. I know what you were imagining, but this is what Murim is like these days. And is that so? Of course, the cities are all like this now. This isn't the Murim I wanted. In fact, everything in the world is disappearing. Myungoh didn't give up despite my words. He learned an interpretation skill and talked to a street vendor. His way of speaking matched the Murim world. Excuse me, where do I go to find a martial arts hall? The merchant, who was dozing off against the pile of goods on a shabby stand, stared at Myungoh with wide eyes. I guess you just came here. Yes. Why do you want to go to a martial arts hall? Do you want to learn martial arts? Since I came to Murim, shouldn't I learn the sword? Indeed. That's right. Your words are correct. Myungoh's mouth curved upwards at the reply. The character Chu Gokmyung has triggered bargaining level 4. It was really bad quality from the start. However, you seem to be misunderstanding something. These days we don't learn martial arts from martial arts halls. What does that mean? The sweaty traditional martial arts teaching methods are only used in the 100th rural Murim world. No one learns martial arts like that these days. You seem to be from a dark world, so I will give you special information. You're lucky. Myungoh was confused. Then how do you learn martial arts these days? We use this. The merchant brushed off the dust accumulated on the goods. The box that the merchant held contained something that was similar to a small MP3. Heaven and Earth's Ice Spirit Sword unopened set. A recording engraved with information directly from the brain of the martial artist, the Ice Flower Goddess. Repeated learning is the best. If you keep studying it from childhood, you will gain enlightenment. since 6-month installments are possible. At 500 coins per month, anyone can be a master. What is this? It's a fad among young people these days. It's rumored that anyone can become a master if they use this 1,000 times. Is that true? Really? Of course it's true. I lived in Murim for over 10 years. Would I lie? Do you see the young people walking around with earphones? Yes, I've seen them. Don't tell me. The merchant nodded significantly at Han Myungoh's question. Everyone is currently listening to it. The youngsters are busy reading these days. I see. That's what it was. I'm behind the times. This is a limited edition because it was directly recorded by the Ice Flower Goddess. Do you know the Ice Flower Goddess? She's the public girlfriend of Murim. Here, I'll let you have a listen. It's very effective even when you aren't sleeping. Han Myungoh stuck the earphones in his ears while Jang Hayoung rummaged through the merchant's goods. Phantom Flyer Home Training, 6-month set. You can be a master if you follow it 10,000 times. Follow the South Palace Sword King's study. Use the safest and fastest way to reach the peak by listening to the online lectures of the top teacher of the South Palace. The 24 hours question and answer board is in operation. There is no need to worry about coins. Feel free to contact us anytime. Come to think of it, these recordings were at the peak popularity during this time. They were known to stimulate the unconscious learning of martial arts, so they sat at home, listened to lectures, and practiced it comfortably. The merchant stared at Jang Hayoung, who was recklessly rummaging through the goods. Hey there, young miss, or mister. In any case, don't mess it up if you're not buying. They're expensive. Can we really become a master with something like this? Don't you see the reviews here? They're all products certified by professional agencies. I remembered the first time I read about the listening devices and ways of survival. The views of the Murim people were also shown. Bak Young Shin, 12 years old, male. I listened to it because of a friend. It was really good. I've been first in my private academy since the 3rd month. Tan Langmyo, 32 years old, female. Honestly, I listened for 3 weeks and thought it took too long. From the 6th week, I started to hear the martial arts that I didn't know. Hua Wang Bangun, 24 years old, male. After hearing this, my performance in the scenarios became better. What about the scenario difficulty? I'm not afraid of the dokubis anymore. They were clearly false advertisements, but it was a temptation for any incarnation who actually visited the first Murim for the first time. They were incarnations who had come through tough scenarios. However, it wasn't easy to learn martial arts techniques profound enough to reduce the difficulty level of the scenario with a few coins. Han Myungoh complained that he didn't like this Murim, and changed his mind. Would you like to listen to it once? It feels like the martial arts enters really easily. Mister, you're in good shape. It's known as the lightheaded phenomenon and usually occurs after 3 weeks. Ah, is that so? How much in a lump sum? I was about to stop him when a terrible voice was heard from behind me. If people can become experts using such a thing, the first Murim would have never been destroyed.